Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we will help you understand all the latest trends in the stock markets, including the benchmark moves, the broader indices, and also an update on how the Adani Group stocks are faring on the 7th consecutive session when we've seen a rout in the Adani Group stocks following the Hindenburg report and several actions thereafter, including the withdrawal of the FPO, the clarification coming in from the management. But despite that, there seems to be no stopping in the kind of fall that you're seeing in the Adani Group stocks. But first up, a look at the markets right now. The markets are doing pretty well right now. 0.5% uptick for the Sensex, 60,278. It's up by 346 odd points. The Nifty 50 also trading 66 points higher in trade, 17,675 at the current point in time. 0.4% of an uptick. Look at the other broader markets. That's where the pain point is emerging from. The mid caps are down by 1%, 0.8% of a decline coming in on the small cap 100 index. In terms of the other sectors, well, the sectors that are doing pretty well today are the sectors like Nifty Bank, which is being supported by financial services, private and PSU banks. So reversal from yesterday's losses clearly right there. Apart from this, you also see some gains coming in on the auto pack as well. But rest of the sectors still are under pressure, with sharp fall coming in on the metals pack today, 2.4% of a decline. Realty pack is declining as well, 1.2% fall for that one. 0.5% of a decline for the FMCG stocks. The IT stocks are flat with a negative bias, and the pharma stocks are declining by about 0.5% too. In terms of the advance decline ratio, you have 27 advances to 23 declines at the moment. In terms of the top gainers, you do have Titan as the top gainer at 4.6% uptick. Bajaj Finserv, Bajaj Finance, both supporting the sentiments today, about 3% of an uptick for that one. HDFC Twins, the other heavyweights that are supporting the move on the upside. On the downside, of course, you do have the Adani Group stocks. We did see a very sharp fall of 35% and more on Adani Enterprises in intraday level today. But again, there was some recovery and the stock is back up at 1347 right now. Adani Ports is down by 3.5%. Divi's Laboratories, BPCL, Hindalco, the other laggards at this point in time as far as the Nifty stocks are concerned. But let's welcome our guests for the day. We have two guests joining in on this special broadcast. We do have Mr. AK Prabhakar joining in from IDBI Capital. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out. And also, Kranthi Bathini joins in from Wealthmills Securities. Both of them will be helping us understand how do you really approach the markets in this current volatile and concerning environment. Mr. Prabhakar, to you first. We've seen a whole episode of Adani Group really play out in the last 4 to 5 odd sessions. Looks like right now in today's trading session, the rest of the markets are able to isolate themselves from the Adani Group. They are looking a little positive. Some other news factors also playing up. The stocks are also reacting to their individual stocks. How do you really suggest investors approach the overall markets in this kind of a scenario?
Yeah, good afternoon. See, there are many takeaways from the budget, which is now starting to move in the stocks also. One thing is life insurance sector. Now, many stocks have corrected and, there is a clarification. And post clarification, many stocks have not recovered to the back old level. So I think there, SBI Life, they have only 2% exposure to insurance, which is above 5 lakh. So SBI Life is our topic, and ICICI Pru has said in the exchange notification that they have only 4 to 5% exposure for 5 lakh above. So and these companies know how to mitigate from these policies. So I think life insurance is a buy. So like that, we have to take calls where we can make money. We are in difficult time because rising interest rate is never good for an equity market. In this difficult time, we need to understand where we can make money over a period of time, not immediately. But there are a lot of opportunities like this in this market.
Okay, understood that. Mr. Bathini, to you as well, the 7th consecutive session that we've seen the Adani Group stocks continue to fall like 9 pins, 35% decline for Adani Enterprises today. We did see that 1,000 mark, and around that Adani Enterprises trading at fresh concerns of being put under ASM, and also Dow Jones exiting some of the stocks as well. How are you looking at the developments right now? The biggest question that is in the minds of investors is, where does this fall stop?
It's definitely $1 million question, Sakshi. But today we do see some kind of bottom formation in Adani Enterprise. But this is the bottom? No. it's not exactly to figure out a bottom is a very difficult task right now, because as you rightly said, there has been a continuous supply of negative news on Adani Group on a everyday basis. Today morning, yesterday we had the Citigroup and Credit Suisse stopped accepting Adani Group bonds as a collateral. But
Yeah.
today, the Dow Jones S&P index, they are removing the Adani enterprises from their sustainable index. It's also one more overhang on this stock. Overall, the stocks are corrected from the top, but one need to keep in mind, on an average, Adani Group shares went up by nearly last 3 years went up by around, on an average, the Adani Group shares went up by around 820%.
Hmm.
So, for a person who is invested 3 years back in Adani Group, he is still sitting on a good amount of profits despite of all this carnage in the market. Uh,
Hmm.
but where is the bottom? We need to see, because in Adani Enterprises today, it was down around 35%, but we can see 10% recovery from the bottom. But still, for
Right.
a retail investors, they need to stay away until unless they have a very high risk appetite. Since the stocks are corrected, Adani Enterprises got corrected from a level of 4,000 to today, even in fact, during the intraday, it touched a bottom level of 1017. It is around
Hmm.
that is the low the stock touched today. So at the bottom level, we do saw uh, uh, some kind of a buying the stock witnessed in this 1,000 rupees level.
Hmm.
So from there, the stock bounced 10%. So if any high risk appetite investor is there who is believed in the infra story and want to going for a very long term, they can start in a very staggered manner. Staggered in the sense, if they want to buy 100 shares, they can start adding 5-10 shares at this point of time.
Hmm.
Right now, this is only for a person, since the stocks are corrected from the top more than 60%. Uh,
Hmm.
those high risk appetite investors only, they can venture at this point of time, because nobody knows exactly the bottom, because the kind of saga that's getting continued and the
Hmm.
negative sentiment around this entire group, uh,
Hmm.
the the bottom formation and identifying that bottom formation is a very critical exercise.
Right, absolutely. We'll come back to you on Adani. Let me bring in Mr. Prabhakar right here. In today's trading session, we are seeing the metals pack really dragging quite sharply, 2.2% downtick over there. What could be the potential concerns right here, and how do you approach the metal stocks? We have been talking about a super cycle last year, but seems like, all of that has fizzled out too soon. But, for a strategic investor looking at metals as a long-term buy, does this downtick really, offer any opportunity to invest?
See, in metals, whenever the cycle is over, it takes at least, 2 years for the cycle to come back. So we need to understand last year itself, the cycle got completed. Once the government put export tax, the sector started to correct, and after that, even the results have not been good. And, today you have a global slowdown, which is very visible, and higher interest rate will not argue well for metals. So I think things have to stabilize. It will take maybe 1 or 2 years, but still we like Tata Steel for a long-term investor, which is 2-3 years time frame. Tata Steel and Jindal Steel for a long-term investor in a corrective pattern you can buy at the current levels. No, you need to avoid metals.
Hmm. What about the realty space that also is under pressure today?
Again, now high interest rate impacts real estate also. But if you ask me, no, real estate, this is after almost 2008. I'm seeing a lot of changes in real estate. So I am long term bullish on real estate. So if we are looking at 5-6 years, then real estate is the best stock to buy. I don't think the interest rate are going to be at this elevated level for a very long time. Maybe next 6 months to 1 year, I feel interest rate topping out will happen and the cut also will start. So,
Hmm.
selected real estate has to be bought on a slow SIP mode.
Absolutely. Mr. Bathini, I wanted to ask you on a broader perspective, look at the way the market positioning is. 1 year ago, the high growth stocks were getting extremely richly valued. Same time last year, Zomato, Nykaa, Policy Bazaar, they were on a different plateau and the trade has reversed completely. Then the high leverage companies made a comeback, whether it is the Adani Group stocks, the infra companies as well, the real estate companies too, and IT has already corrected. We all know that. The FMCG stocks right now are looking expensive. Now, with the exception of banks, which are a proxy on the economy, where is going to be the next leadership in the market?
Yes, actually. But one thing is the stocks and the sectors what you mentioned, they were in a complete momentum zone. And sometimes the momentum can long lasting for some more time, extended period of time. As you rightly said, last 2-3 years have been the stocks of Adani Group. They were in a very unstoppable uptrend. And uh, at the time of listing of most of these new age group stocks, they were in an uptrend for some time. The momentum was a uptrend in some time. But as the time progresses, because of reason or no reason, somewhere, some point of time, any stock that can be corrected, that can get into a consolidation phase, whenever any stock rallies, when it exceeds its valuation, somewhere the market will realize what is the exact value for this particular stock, and that's where the correction and consolidation takes place. And
Sure.
that's what happening right now in majority of the stocks in the market. So that's where the momentum investing always one need to have highly vigilant when the stock is in a momentum zone. It's not a stock to just to buy and forget. uh, Only the growth and value investment can be kept in their portfolio for a longer term. Whenever a stock get into a higher momentum zone, one need to be very vigilant. They need to take their profits at this point of time. Going
Right.
ahead, where we can see the value, definitely the banking and financial services offers a good value over a period of time for a longer term investment prospect is our concern. And also we can see engineering as well as capital goods also offers a decent trend going ahead for the
Sure.
investors.
Sure, sure. Mr. Prabhakar, I want to understand from you. We did talk about metals, but what about precious metals? Gold prices are trading at all-time highs. People are talking about 60,000 now as a reality. I mean, like some months ago, we were just looking at a very stuck price of gold, which was not moving in either direction. And suddenly, in the last 1 or 2 months, we've seen the prices go up so sharply. Titan reported its numbers, and Titan stock is up as well. How are you looking at this entire precious metals pack and Titan and some of the other jewelry stocks at this point in time? Do they look attractive in the wake of the current move that we are seeing on gold?
Yeah, no, gold is a precious metal I don't track, so I won't be able to comment on that. Yeah, no, when gold moves higher, it is going to benefit Titan. Even Kalyan Jewelers is going to be a beneficiary of it. But we need to understand consumption as a space. There is a visible slowdown. You take Jubilant Food, you take any consumption stock for that matter. Let it be Bata India. No, it has not performed well. So I think there is a problem in consumption, but gold, because of the increasing gold prices, there will be a profit, extra profit, margins will improve. But I don't think sales growth is going to improve for Titan or Kalyan Jewelers. Kalyan Jewelers is a very small player, so there the growth will come. But your gold finance companies are something to watch out for when the increase in gold prices. But I would stay away from consumption at least for 6 months to 1 year.
Right. Okay. Mr. Bathini, speaking more about the Adani Group, I wanted to understand from you a little further as well. The embattled billionaire Gautam Adani is now in talks with the creditors to prepay some of the loans, backed by the pledged shares as he seeks to restore the confidence in his conglomerate's financial health. Now, this is as per some of the reports that we have been reading. There is obviously Business Today has not confirmed it on its own, but we are hearing all of this. And, I want to understand from you, will this move really see lenders release some of the stocks in the Adani Group companies that was pledged as a collateral? And does it really help in bring back the confidence that we've been discussing, that what else will the management really need to do to really calm the nerves for investors right now?
Actually, one thing is building confidence is a greater time consuming exercise. Once the trust, it will take time, and also once the trust is shaky, and when it's coming down, okay, building the exercise is a process. It takes much more time what we expect. So the current the news, the unconfirmed news that is getting surfaced, we need to see how it's going to evolve. One way, they raised the money and they given back the money, and also the company have a greater the group is in a very aggressive zone in terms of their acquisition, in terms of the expanding their businesses into various areas, and they need a lot of capital also going ahead, the growth capital they need going ahead to run the different businesses in a much more expansion zone, to utilize the opportunities and also to participate in the infra theme of India. So they need the growth capital. So it's a very tricky exercise how the group is going to maintain this balance, whether they are going to prepay the loans with the internal resources. At the same point of time, they need to think about their expansion also. It is a critical exercise. It is a complete premature to say at this level how the group stance is going to be. So we need to wait and watch much more time how things will evolve over a period of time.
Right, absolutely. Mr. Prabhakar, where exactly are you looking at value in this current market scenario? You did talk about post the budget, where exactly are the exciting, places where investors can really look at. In terms of specific stocks, I want to ask you, we have the big trigger that's now gone by of the budget, which everybody was waiting for. In the last 1 month, we didn't see any directional move from the markets, but now that the budget is behind us, which stocks are looking, value wise interesting?
Yeah, there are few things which are happening, so few things I can call it a special situation. IndusInd Bank, they got a approval for stake hike. So that is something, we are telling our clients that you have a good opportunity there, IndusInd Bank. And even in Scient, I think there is a special situation opportunity in Scient. And, Indian Hotel came with a very good result, and management commentary was even wonderful than that. So I think hotel is a space to watch out for. They are talking about the demand being there, and even pricing power being there. So Indian Hotel, Mahindra Holiday Resorts, Lemon Tree are few stocks to look out for. And Bharti Airtel is in a sweet spot. See, previously they were having a scheme for 99 rupees. Now plan across India they made it 155 rupees. That means their ARPU will start to increase. So Bharti Airtel is one thing to watch out for. We are very positive on the stock for a long-term perspective.
Okay. Mr. Bathini, since we've been discussing the Adani Group stocks with you, you did talk about that, investors with very high risk appetite can only be looking at right now. But out of the entire 9-10 stocks from the Adani basket, where do you see valuations most mouth-watering at this point in time? And you would like now be tempted to look at adding some of the stocks in a staggered fashion from now in your own portfolio, and you are suggesting to the clients as well?
Actually, as you said, where it looks mouth-watering. See, it looks mouth-watering, but when we have to touch they are very hard. Okay, I can burn my mouth also. So, so, because it is quite evident every day when the stock is coming down 15, 20%, 35%. Okay, so there is no point to where to take that sweet into your mouth when you know that it's going to burn your mouth. So this is the main problem with respect to Adani Group shares are concerned. So one need to just fold their hands right now, just observe the things, because it's not a stocks to just to buy and forget right now at this point of time. One need to be on their toes and understand the valuation, because see, when a saga of negative news that keep on hitting the stocks, understanding the bottom, identifying the bottom with the conventional wisdom of techno fundamentals, it doesn't work. One need to and you don't know where the bottom. If you use your technical analysis, when they are rising, we don't know where the resistance level. When they're coming down, we don't know where the bottom level. This is the trend of these stocks. That's why we call them as a high beta zone stock. Now, one is waiting, but because all these days everybody was talking about till yesterday, There was a lot of value in Adani Ports, but the stock has hammered yesterday and today also. So one need to wait and watch where the bottom formation happens, where the buying interest that comes, and where the confidence levels get pushed. Probably
Sure.
that is the best level one can see. Suppose if a person have a very high risk appetite, stocks like Adani Ports, one can if they have 100 rupees to invest, they can start building their position with just a 5-10 rupees at this point of time. Otherwise,
Sure.
just stay away from these stocks at this point of time.
Okay, one stock that we want to discuss before we wind down the show is ITC, of course, ahead of its earnings as well. Mr. Prabhakar, starting with you. Now, this stock we all know since the February 2022 low, the stock has had a stupendous rally. We've seen the stock recently again touch its all-time high, breakout from the consolidation and the sideways move of the last 1 or 2 months odd as well. Where do you really see ITC stock really moving going forward from here? And despite the kind of move that came in the budget in terms of the prices being raised by 16 odd percent as far as the customs is concerned, ITC has a potential buy at these levels at the current valuations. Would you still be a buy?
Yeah, no, I will be a buyer in ITC. So no, the impact is hardly 1.5% to 2%, whatever hike the ITC has to take, and I think it is possible. Now we need to understand they had competition from imported cigarettes or smuggled cigarettes, if I have to call it right. So no, that is now behind us. The government has not tinkered with the tax too much. So that is something positive, and now more than 40% of their business comes from cigarette, and balance business also has started to do very well. If you take paper companies, they have reported good results. Hotel companies have reported good results, and even FMCG is up to the mark. So it has a pack of everything. So I think ITC is something where even at current level, if you buy in the next 1-2 years, you will make 15% CAGR return. But if you are going to have it even more, then that kind of return is possible there.
Right, absolutely. Mr. Bathini, your comments on ITC? I mean, on account of the stellar performance that we've been seeing all across, do you expect the Q3 results also to be as positive and provide a further fillip to the stock?
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with Mr. Prabhakar. Okay, but the stock has witnessed a tremendous rally in the past 2 years. Uh, at this point of time, the multi-bagger kind of returns. If anybody want to invest in this stock, that's not the stock for them. But comfortably, it gives a stable return. It gives a CAGR return of 15% from this level, and there are overhangs of demerger of hotel business and FMCG business. This news has been surfacing from quite a long time. The management need to address this thing as early as possible to demerge their businesses to unlock the value in ITC going ahead.
Okay, understood that. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Prabhakar, and thank you so much, Mr. Bathini, for being with us on the show and sharing with us all those insights about markets, the way the investors approach several pockets, including the Adani Group stocks and ITC ahead of the earnings as well. And with that, we'll wrap up this show. The markets are trading at the day's highest point. If you look at the Sensex, it's trading at 60,374. The Nifty is at 17,699 at this point in time. 17,700, 90 points up, 0.5% uptick for that one at the day's high level. So somewhat definitely the markets are able to isolate the Adani episode, but we'll have to see how the second half of the trade really pans out as well, and we'll keep you posted with all the developments. And for that, you should stick with us on this channel. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also engage with us via our other social media platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Many thanks for tuning in. For now.